Elgato has sponsored me to tell you WTF is the Elgato Wave 1 microphone. I've recommended the Wave 3 to dozens of my clients that were very happy with it. What is the Wave 1 USB microphone and how is it different? So, what you need to know about this series of microphones that makes it different than every other microphone out there is the Elgato Wave series microphones has the Wave Link software with it. So it's not just the mic, it's the most easy to use software that I am aware of that I use on consulting calls with my clients that helps them connect all of the different things in their studio together with their mic audio. So this is the mic right here. Not only do you get the mic audio, but you also get Spotify, game audio, internet browser audio, PowerPoint audio, and you can combine all of those together in a digital mixer situation that makes combining all of your audio in one interface ultra easy. The other thing about this microphone that's great is it has the ability to be mounted to basically any stand. It comes with an adapter on the bottom. It also comes with a table stand that you can put on the table, and it also has a USB-C style input. It's got a volume knob right here on the front, and on the back, you'll see that you can plug in the USB cable and headphones to do monitoring. It also allows you to adjust and to flip this thing 360 degrees within its stand in order to get it into the perfect position for you. And it does come with a few official accessories that you'll have to pay separately for. So why would you get something like the Elgato Wave 1 versus the plethora of other USB microphone options? The number one reason to get this mic versus anything else is that the software, the Wavelink software that comes with it, makes digital audio mixing easier than any other solution I have used in the last 10 years. That's the difference between this one and all the others. Make sense? That's what the Elgato Wave 1 is, and if you're interested in picking it up, check out the link in the description below. Elgato has sponsored me to tell you what's in the box with the Elgato Wave 1 microphone. I've recommended the Wave 3 to dozens of my clients. What's in the box with the Wave 1? Is it different than the Wave 3? I'll be honest with you, not really. It's pretty much the same package. You get the beautiful form factor front address condenser microphone in the box. It's got the little swivel stand on it, which I love, which you can lock on the side here and get it into just the position you want. Goes 360, which is nice. The mic has the USB-C inputs on the back, as well as the microphone jack on the back, which is really nice. And when it comes in the box, it'll be mounted directly to this table stand. The table stand comes with the mic, which is cool. And you may be thinking, this is a teeny tiny little table stand, not going to work for me. I can tell you it will. The table stand is definitely heavy enough for the mic. The mic is relatively light form factor, and the stand is definitely heavy enough, and it comes with a very thin threaded screw head on the top that is designed specifically for that exact same connector here on the bottom of the microphone. Now, if you're wanting to connect this mic to, let's say, the boom stand of your choice, there's an adapter that comes along with the microphone that allows you to do that, to go to larger thread sizes. And so basically you take the adapter that comes in the box, you go ahead and screw it on whatever your boom stand is, your shock mount, whatever, and then you can just screw on the microphone. I'll have a separate tutorial just about that, but it's really simple to put it on any number of stands. I've tested it with 4 or 5 different stands that I have, and it works out great for all of those. And then, of course, in the box, you need a way to plug this microphone into your computer. So it does come with a USB-A to USB-C cable in the box, which is what's going to power the microphone and bring that data into your computer so that you can interface with the Wavelink software and use all of those beautiful mixing capabilities that come with the mic on your computer. So that's what's in the box itself. Now, there are optional accessories that you can purchase separately with the Wave 1 microphone. I'll link those in the description below, a pop filter as well as a shock mount. That's the official ones for the mic, but I can tell you I've tested it with multiple accessories of my own that you'll see here in this tutorial series. It works with other accessories too, because the form factor on the mic and the size of it and the compatibility of it is pretty solid to work with. Maybe your existing setup is maybe an upgrade purchase, possibly to fit into your particular setup. That's what's in the box with the Wave 1. There's also some packaging and some instructions and stuff in there, but who cares about that? You've got YouTube videos to teach you about it. Anyway, enjoy your Wave 1. Elgato is sponsoring me to tell you the difference between the Elgato Wave 1 microphone and the Elgato Wave 3, the one I've used extensively and recommended to my clients, dozens of them. Which one's better? Which one should you get? Why is the Elgato Wave 1 less expensive? Is it the garbage version? Let me just tell you the truth about these two mics, okay? So let's clear all of this up. First things first, 80% of the value of both of these microphones and putting them in your home studio is their ability to connect all of your audio in your home studio together in one software solution. Your Spotify, click that in. Your game audio, click that in. Bring in your Skype, click that in. Bring in your Microsoft Office, bring it in. Every audio source on your computer, all together in one using the Wavelink software. That's 80% of the value of these mics versus, let's say, all the USB mic competitors out there. So keep that in mind. That's the majority of the value. The second thing you need to know is that there is a slight, unnoticeable for your viewers, difference in the audio quality that you're going to get out of both of these mics. What do I mean by that? The Elgato Wave 1 has 48 kilohertz sample rate. That's a good sample rate. And the Elgato Wave 3, though, has a 96 kilohertz sample rate. Better. Will your viewers notice the difference? No. Will you notice the difference? Maybe. So if you're an audiophile, then the Wave 3 has a tiny edge over the Elgato Wave 1 in terms of the sample rate and being able to go higher with your sample rate for higher quality. All right, so what comes in the box? Well, as you can see, both mics are basically identical in terms of form factor with a few minor differences, but both come with the exact same USB-A to USB-C cable, check. They both come with the adapter that lets you mount on a any sort of stand that you want, boom stand, shock mount, check. They also come with the table stand, same exact table stand, no difference in quality there, check. All right, the form factor on both mics is nearly identical as well. They both have the exact same pop filter setup. They both have the U-stand on the bottom that lets you mount the microphone any way you want, USB on the back with headphone jack, and they both have the volume control knob right here on the front. Check, check, check. All exactly the same, okay? Exactly the same. The only difference, let's call it the quote-unquote minor difference, if you will, between these two microphones is the on-microphone capabilities of the Elgato Wave 3 mic. Check it out. The Wave 3, see the microphone symbol, the headphone symbol, and the cross-fadey looking symbol there on the front of this microphone? The Wave 3 allows you to change your mic volume on the mic using this knob. It allows you to change your headphone volume, which the Wave 1 also allows for, but it allows you to change the mix between microphone and headphone on the mic, okay? So that is a minor difference between these two microphones. If you want the physical control of doing all of that on the microphone, the Wave 3 has the physical control to do that. Both of them have the digital control on your computer, but this one has the physical control on the mic. And the other major item the Wave 3 has that the Wave 1 does not, as you can see, it has a mute button on the top of the microphone. Why is that good? Well, when you hit the mute button on the Wave 3, it's relatively silent when you physically mute the mic. With the Elgato Wave 1, it does not have the mute button on the top, as you can see. And so when you want to physically mute with the Elgato Wave 1, you've got to click, and you're going to hear the click in the mix. Those are the two essentially tangible differences between these microphones, is the muting functionality between the Wave 1 and the mixing functionality physically on the front of the microphone between both. Otherwise, these mics are essentially identical in virtually every other way. That's it. So that's the difference. And that's why the pricing on these two mics is very, very similar between the Wave 1 and the Wave 3, because Elgato knows the majority of the value of these mics is the software. They both sound nearly identical, so you can choose. Do you care about having the physical controls on the microphone? If so, get the Wave 3. If you don't care about having all of those physical controls in the microphone and you're just going to do digital controls anyway, get the Wave 1. Personally, I think the Wave 1 is a better fit for somebody like me. I'm not going to sit there and physically click a button on the front of a microphone like a caveman, but other people like to do that, especially for people that are in extended, let's say, podcasts or live streams. Being able to quickly physically mute, let's say, on the microphone is an advantage if your dog starts barking or your kids are yelling at you or you suddenly need to mute for some reason. Wave 3 does have that advantage for people that are doing long form content. For people that are doing recorded content and are not live, the Wave 1 probably makes more sense for you. Anyway, links to both products are in the description below and their official accessories if you want to check those out. Thanks for watching. Elgato is sponsoring me to tell you how to get their Elgato Wave 1 microphone onto a shock mount, onto the boom arm of your choice. And in this video, I'm going to make that really easy for you. Now, really quick, why would you want to do that? Well, the table stand that it comes with is actually super high quality, but if you put this mic on a table on top of a box, let's say further away from you when you're using it, it's going to pick up a lot of room noise, and it's not going to get the clarity and the highs that this microphone is able to capture. Whereas if you were able to get the microphone closer to you, let's say optimal distance, which is hang 10 distance away from your mouth, about 6 inches or so, then you'll get all those crispy highs and all those nice boomy lows from your voice, which brings out the maximum sound quality with the microphone. So what we're going to do, just to take the microphone off of its table stand it comes with, is turn it upside down, grab it by the sides of the U clamp down here at the bottom, and then turn counterclockwise. And you're just going to turn it, and there's only about 5 or 6 threads inside of the mic threading there, and then boom, the table stand comes off real easy. Put it aside and keep it. Maybe you take this mic on the go, maybe you need to use a temporary situation, and then boom, there you go. It's going to expose this golden threading on the inside of the microphone. Now, what you're probably going to notice here is that the mic itself has this small threading down here on the tip of the mic, but maybe your boom stand has a bigger threading, like this shock mount I have or your boom stand, and those two things don't match up. That's okay. There is an adapter that comes with the microphone in the box that is going to go into the mic, and it is going to allow you to go either into this larger threading size, and also let's call it a, for simplicity's sake, a medium threading size inside of here, which allows you to go into most commonly sized shock mounts or boom stands. Got it? So the way that you put that on is very simple. Let's just take our mic, hold it by the sides of the U stand. I don't want you to damage your U. Make sure it stays safe, and then start to screw in clockwise the adapter here until it's flush. You should not be able to see any silver in between the U stand and the adapter, and don't crank it in ultra tight, otherwise you could damage the hardware, okay? Just finger tight, okay? So once you do that, then what we're going to do is we are going to put the microphone onto our stand here. So what we're going to do is, as you can see, there's the threading there, and we're going to put our mic right on top, and depending on your situation, you're either going to spin the mic or you're going to spin a screw that is on the bottom of your mounting situation to get the mic on there nice and tight. So let's go ahead and do that. By the way, links in the description below to the official shock mount and the official pop filter for the Elgato Wave 1 microphone. I don't own those because Elgato did not send them to me, but they're down there if you want to check those out. But this mic is compatible with most shock mounts and most boom stands because it's so light. And so this one's actually made for a different microphone, and it works great here. So that's one thing I like about this mic. So once it's on the stand, what you're going to want to do is, using the side buttons over here, if you will, with the Elgato logo there on the side, what you're going to want to do is turn these on the side and get the microphone at the optimal angle and tighten these up finger tight once you get the mic in the optimal position close to you and at the optimal angle. So what do I mean by that? So what you're going to do is turn the mic toward you. You're going to want the Elgato logo pointed at you. It's not a top address microphone. It's not from the back. Point the Elgato logo like it's got a freaking laser pointed right at your mouth, okay? So then you're going to bring in the microphone closer. You're going to go about hang 10 distance away from the mic. Then you're going to angle it so that the Elgato logo shoots a laser to the back of your mouth. Then you're going to tighten in the sides on the microphone so that it doesn't move. Got it? Once you've done that, Then you're going to take your USB cable and you're going to plug in the mic. So what that means is you're going to use the USB-A side of the cable, plug that into your computer, and then the USB-C side is going to go into your mic. And I have the USB-C side right here, right in front of me, so that we can do this quickly for this tutorial. So what we're going to do is use the USB-C side. We're going to turn the mic to the side on our shock mount. We're going to plug it right in that USB jack, nice and snug, click. And when you do that, you will get confirmation that the mic is properly set up and that it's working because you'll get the volume dial here on the front of the microphone lighting up with white. And then if you press the button, it'll turn red and it'll confirm that the mic is powered up and it is connected to your computer. Once you've done that, you are now done with the hardware side of the setup, and then you'll need to move in the software side. A couple quick tips in terms of boom setup. As you can see here, I have a couple Velcros on this particular stand, and I like to use this on most of my stands. You can run the USB cable along the boom stand, use some Velcros to tighten it on there, just to have a tighter situation so your cables are not dangling down while you're trying to bring the mic in closer to you. It's just a nice quality of life option. Once again, links in the description below to the mic and the official accessories for this particular mic. I'm telling you, and I'm going to do audio tests later on the channel in separate videos, the sound quality will drastically increase the closer this microphone gets to your mouth. So it's worth the money if you want to max the quality out on this really high-end USB microphone. Adios, amigos. Enjoy. Elgato is sponsoring me to help you do basic setup of your Elgato Wave 1 microphone. What do I mean by that? Well, where we're at right now in the tutorial is we've got the mic out of the box, we've got it off of its table stand, I've got it mounted right here on my boom stand in my studio, and it is plugged in to the USB jack on my computer. We've confirmed that it's turned on because there's a power up white circle if you press the button, red circle around the mic, and it is ready now to begin the basic setup in my computer to get this thing up and running. Got it? That's where we're at right now in the setup process. Watch my previous videos if you want to catch up to this step. So in order to do the basic setup, before we do Wavelink software, before we do anything advanced, we need to do our basic settings in Windows first before we do the advanced stuff. So what you're going to do down here in Windows is you're going to go down to the search bar and you're going to type in sound, and you're going to see sound settings over here as an option. That's the menu that we're going to go into right now, okay? Sound settings. And so we're going to click that. It's going to pull open this menu, and then what you're going to do from this menu is you're going to go into my favorite place for audio on PC at least, which is your sound control panel, and you're going to click that. Whenever you do, it's going to bring up this sound menu here. There's going to be multiple tabs over here. Playback and recording are the two that we're going to be concerned with. So if you want to play back audio through the headphone jack on the Elgato Wave mic, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the headphone jack that's right here on the back of the microphone. See the headphone jack back here? If you're plugging headphones into the back of the mic and you want to listen through that, then you are going to use the headphones Elgato Wave 1 device as your playback device here in Windows. So what does that mean? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to go to the device, you're going to right click it, you're going to set it as default communication device and also default device. And you'll see the check mark next to the device to confirm that it is your default device. Okay? If you are going to play back your audio through some other source on your computer, let's say your speakers or your headset or whatever it is, you'll need to scroll down your list of playback options here, and then you'll need to set whatever that other option is as your default device instead. So let's say I wanted to do speakers instead, I could set that as my default device. So make sure you choose the correct playback option here whenever you're first setting up your microphone. Then, once you've selected it, let's say you're assuming you're going to use your headphones with the Elgato Wave 1, you're going to right-click whatever your playback device is and go to Properties. Here within Properties, there's just a few settings you want to double-check. You want to make sure that your levels are where you're comfortable, and you can click the Levels button here under Headphones, and it'll go bloom, 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 and play a sound back. Play that sound back and adjust your headphone or your volume based on what you want inside of Windows. You can also adjust the volume directly on the microphone itself right here using the monitor playback knob, and you can crank it up here on the mic. And when you crank it up on the mic, watch this. I'm going to turn it up on the mic. It turns it up in the computer when you do that. Watch. I turn the knob down here, and notice how it changed the volume in the computer. So this actually digitally controls the Windows volume of the microphone in the computer. Pretty sweet, right? That's how that works. So you can do it physically on the microphone, or you can do it digitally within the computer. It's the exact same thing with this mic. You're going to want to look at enhancements and disable all enhancements, in my opinion. I'm going to click disable. Then under advanced, what you're going to do is just make sure that it's set up on 2-channel, 24-bit, 48,000 hertz. That's just going to maximize it, make sure it's studio quality audio, and it is okay to allow applications to take exclusive control of this device, because later you will be installing the official Elgato software, Wavelink software, that you will want to take control of this particular device. Spatial sound off. Got it? Those are the playback options that you're going to want to make here. Now let's go over to the recording tab. So click the recording tab here in Windows, and you'll see all sorts of devices on your computer, but obviously the one we're going to be concerned with right now is the mic in, which is your Elgato Wave 1 microphone. So we're going to click that, and we're going to make sure that we're right-clicking it and we're making that the default device on your computer for capturing audio. Then once you've done that, you'll have the green check mark there. You right-click and go to Properties. Within the Properties menu, we're going to just double-check a bunch of settings. You can choose what you want the microphone to be called. I like calling it mic in because that helps me understand what it will show up as in my mixer later. Choose something that makes sense for your brain here in terms of the name. You can rename it that. It'll show up as that name in OBS and Wavelink software and everywhere else. Take advantage of that feature, okay? Then you're going to go to Listen. Make sure you are not listening to the device here, because you're going to want to do that later through other monitoring methods. Under Levels, you want to go ahead and start out your levels of this microphone at around 75, in my opinion, and then you can adjust the levels later depending on how loud your voice is. 75 is a good starting place for this particular mic. You are going to not click disable all enhancements on the microphone. Why? Because we are going to add enhancements later through the Elgato Wavelink software. So don't click any buttons here, just leave it the way it is. And then when you go to the Advanced tab, you do want to make sure that you are allowing exclusive mode, because Wavelink software is going to take control of the mic. And then you want to make sure that you've got 24-bit studio quality 48,000 hertz selected here, so that you have maximum audio quality with this particular mic in your basic setup. Once you've completed all those steps, you're going to hit X, then you're going to hit X on sound, and you can close out all of your sound settings, and now your microphone has the basic settings it needs to be able to move into the next step, which is to install the Wavelink software, which is really the secret sauce of this mic, which makes it so incredibly good. If you want to pick up the mic and the official accessories for it, links in the description below. Have fun. Adios. Elgato is sponsoring me to teach you how to do the very basic download and installation of the Elgato Wave 1 microphone with the accompanying Wavelink software. Why do you want this software? Well, to be honest, the software is 80% of the value of this microphone, in my personal opinion. It allows you to bring in Spotify and game audio and Microsoft Office and Chrome and any audio sources and pull them together in one digital mixer. And so this tutorial assumes that you already have the mic plugged in, you've already done the basic setup in Windows or Mac. I've got a tutorial video I've already released on that, and you are now having the foundation in place, hardware-wise and Windows and Mac-wise, to bring software in to control the microphone. If you haven't done those steps yet, please watch my previous tutorial videos, because this setup process may be jacked up if you don't do those previous steps. So within your internet browser, wherever you are, go to Elgato Downloads. That's what I like to type in, and I hit enter, and it brings up the official elgato.com/downloads link. Click that. Be sure you don't click an ad or something like that. Go to the official Elgato download page. Got it? So once you're here, you're going to select your product. Obviously, we're doing the Wave 1 microphone today, and you are going to select your operating system. Mac and Windows are available. Then below, you will see the Wavelink software and which devices it's compatible with. Wave 1, of course. Go ahead and click download. Then the file should download relatively quick. It's less than 100 megabytes. And once the download has completed, then you are going to go to that file wherever you downloaded it. You're going to click it and you're going to go through the standard installation process here. Cool. Let me minimize the website and make things a bit more simple. So they are going to go through this wizard with you. I'm going to help you shortcut some of the steps here. Hit next. Obviously, read the entire agreement 5 times, then hit next. And then here's the next step. It says disconnect your device. Make sure it's unplugged during the tutorial. So you're going to do that. All right. So the previous step, I had you plug it in and do the basic Windows setup. It wants you to unplug during this step. I just unplugged. Let's hit next. Then you choose your install location. I recommend leaving the installation on your C drive. I've had instances where my computer has been confused having software like this on my secondary storage drives. So leave it on the C drive and go ahead and install the program. And so we'll go ahead and let the Wavelink install right now. All right, once the installation is complete, it'll ask you for, permissions to do things depending on the platform. You have completed the wizard, hit finish. Great. So now the Wavelink software is installed. It should automatically pop it up on your screen. If it doesn't automatically pop up, then what you're going to do is search for the program, type in Wavelink there on your computer, and then you can find the program either through your Finder on Mac or on Windows, and then manually open the program to go through this initial setup, okay? So it's saying connect your Wave device. What does that mean? Obviously, you're taking your USB-C cable and you're plugging it into the back of your microphone. And once you do that, the program will, boom, detect the device. And of course, you will see confirmation on the device that it is plugged in because you'll see the power ring around your device, and it should instantly detect. If it does not instantly detect, unplug and replug, and maybe close and reopen the software. That has been a troubleshoot that worked for me in the past. Now that it detected the device, we are going to click the Activate New Device button. Once we do that, boom, it just works. So it's that easy. Now you're in the Elgato Wavelink software, and you can begin going through the basic setup process for your particular mic. Let me just give you a very basic intro to this software, and then I've got many more advanced tutorials on it. So as you can see right up here, your microphone is automatically added as an input on the Wavelink mixer, okay? And so what you're going to do if you want to open the settings is do the drop down, and the next thing that you're going to want to do is click Update Firmware. So if it's fresh out of the box, it may have been sitting in a warehouse somewhere, and you want to update the firmware. And so what we're going to do is hit continue on that. And what it's doing while it's updating the firmware is your microphone should blink red, and on your computer, it'll give you the notification, do not unplug the device. And it's just plugging in some new firmware into your mic to make sure that it's savvy, it's ready to go, and it's going to be compatible with everything Wavelink has to offer, Windows and Mac has to offer, and any other softwares that are out there. And this is just Elgato ensuring that their hardware will continue to be compatible with different operating systems and softwares moving forward. And so give it about, 30, 45 seconds, and do not unplug your microphone while during this process. You could brick your microphone. In my experience, I've had people unplug during firmware updates and they bricked their device. That means it died, by the way. So don't do that. Just let it update the firmware on its own. There you go. Update successful, hit OK. Great. Now that your firmware is updated, then we're going to go back into your microphone here in the Wavelink software, and we're going to go down to the settings. Notice how the firmware is now whatever the most recent version is. Great. So when you talk, a couple things you need to make sure that are happening. You're going to see bars popping right here for your mic and for your input. What you're going to want to do is get the mic in the right position for you, and then you can turn up the input gain until when you talk into the microphone, the input is getting here into the yellow, but it is not going into the red. So you want to bump up your input gain until it's in the yellow and not into the red, generally speaking. Down here below in the headphone jack, if you are listening through the headphones, you're going to want to choose what you're listening to through your headphones. So if you slide the slider this way, you'll only be listening to the microphone and your own voice. If you put it in the middle, you'll be listening to a mix of the microphone and your own voice and the audio on the computer. And if you move it all the way over here to the right, then it will only be hitting your computer. You can also adjust your volume on the input gain by turning the knob on the mic physically. As you can see, I'm physically turning the knob on the mic to change that input gain there. That is also an option for you with this particular device, which is really cool. And below, as far as audio enhancements are concerned, I do recommend enabling enhanced low cut filter and leaving clip guard on. Those are the very basic features and very basic settings of this mic. I'm going to go through all of that again later, of course, in a full-blown tutorial. But at this point, just to summarize, your mic is now hooked up. The firmware is now updated. You now have the Wavelink software installed. You have your basic settings in place and your volume in a fairly decent spot. And you are in good shape to now begin the process of plugging this into communications programs, OBS, Streamlabs, whatever you're going to do with the mic to move forward. Thank you so much for watching. Link to this mic in the description below, as well as the official accessories. And I've got a whole bunch more tutorials on all of the advanced features of this mic on the software side coming up next, so be sure to check those out. Thank you for watching. Elgato is sponsoring me to help you understand the best mic settings in the Wavelink software for the Elgato Wave 1 microphone. Now, you may be asking, why do I need to use some other software with this USB microphone, the Wavelink software? Long story short, it lets you pull in music, game audio, Discord, Skype, Microsoft Teams, browser audio, everything all into one digital audio mixer that I recommend to my consulting clients all the time. It's so incredibly simple. This tutorial assumes that to get to this phase, that you have plugged in your microphone, that you have done the Windows settings on your microphone, you haven't updated the firmware in the Wavelink software, it's powered up, and it's ready to rock. If you haven't done all of those steps to get to where you have the microphone interfacing with the Wavelink software, then you need to watch my previous tutorial videos to catch up to where we're at. It's really simple. Catch up. Here we go. So within the Wavelink software, you're going to see, if all the previous steps were done correctly, Elgato Wave 1 here as your initial input on your digital mixer. So what you're going to do is click the drop-down menu, and there's a number of settings here you're going to want to adjust. So I recommend, I know this is a minor setting, but I recommend changing the name of the microphone to something that makes sense to your brain. I'll leave it as Elgato Wave 1. That's cool with me. You name it mic, microphone, whatever you want to call it to help your brain out. Setting number 2 is important on the Wave 1 because you only have one dial that does one type of thing, and you can switch it on the front of the microphone. So what do I mean by that? Here under dial function, you can choose whether the dial on the front of the mic changes your mic volume, your input gain, or it changes your output volume, which is basically your headphone jack. So what do I mean by that? This physical knob here on the front of the microphone, you can change what it does in the software based on what your preference is. Now, my preference is to use input gain when you're setting the volume on the microphone initially. So let's do that. We're going to choose input gain from this menu. So when we're looking at device input below here, generally speaking, you're going to want to get the mic about hang 10 distance from your mouth. So like this, thumb on your mouth, pinky should be touching the front of the mic, something like that. That's optimal distance with this microphone, in my opinion. Great. Hang 10 distance away. You're there with me? Great. So now you're just going to talk at a presentation level like I am right now, and you're going to look at this input level right here. And what you're going to do is you're going to physically turn up the knob on the microphone. As you can see, when I turn the physical knob, it's changing the digital version here in Windows, and you can turn up the knob and get that volume level up to where you want it to be. You can also, of course, use your mouse to adjust the volume to precise locations. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get the volume about 80%, 85% the way up here. You don't want it past 95% here at the end of the bar, about 85% the way up. And once it's at about 85% the way up, leave it there. You don't want to over-modulate the microphone. You don't want to clip the microphone and have the quality reduced, okay? That's optimal. So right about where you see right here, 85% the way up, 90% the way up, stop there. Don't crank it higher than that. Got it. Okay, great. So the next thing that we're doing here is we're adjusting the headphone jack settings. So if you want to adjust the volume that you're hearing through your headphones, what we can do is go back up above, choose dial function, and choose output volume instead. All right. So then when we change output volume, when we physically adjust the volume here on the mic, with the dial there, then it'll change how loud the output is from the headphone jack on the back of the mic into your headphones. Got it? But here's the next setting that's really cool. Not only can you adjust the volume, but in the software here, in Wavelength software, you can choose what you're listening to. So this is the unique function of monitor mixing here in Wavelength software. So if the dial's all the way over to the left, where the microphone icon is, you're only going to hear yourself through your headphones through the mic. Maybe you prefer that if you're just doing a solo recording. If you have the dial all the way on to the right, you're only going to hear whatever's playing back on your computer. So maybe music, game audio, some call you're on, whatever it is. You're only going to hear other people, not yourself, other things, not yourself. And if you want it somewhere in the middle, then you can choose how much of yourself versus how much of the mix that's happening on your computer you're listening to. Adjust that, get that in the right setting, and then you can adjust the dial here on how loud that is in your headphones. Generally speaking, I recommend leaving your dial function after you set your mic volume to just output volume, so you can adjust the volume on the fly for yourself. Let's say something gets super loud or you want it louder, you can adjust physically on the mic, which is great. Now, when it comes to audio enhancements, there are a few things that are really important. In my personal opinion, I think that the Elgato Wave 1 microphone has a very bassy sound. Same thing with the Wave 3, super bassy. And so what I do recommend doing is using a low cut filter on this microphone, and it cuts the super low end boominess of the microphone out and allows only like the low mid end, and high end through. So here, let me clarify. If the microphone is very close to your mouth, like it is right now for me, hang 10 distance away, you're probably going to want to use the enhanced low cut filter. If the microphone is going to be sitting on the table stand, let's say on your desk somewhere, like over there, then you probably don't want to use the enhanced low cut filter because you're going to want the bassiness to come through. Does that make sense? So let me just simplify this. If the mic is close to your mouth, check this box. If the mic is not close to your mouth, uncheck that box. That's my general recommendation there, okay? The clip guard function, do it. What does clip guard do? It just makes it so that if you talk really loud, if you sneeze, if your dog barks, if your kid tackles you, it will prevent the microphone from clipping above a certain volume level and crushing the ears of all your listeners. And there's the wave gain lock option. I don't check this, but you can if you want to. So basically what this does is it prevents programs like Discord and Skype and Slack and whatever you're doing calls on from adjusting your volume automatically if you accidentally have that setting checked somewhere else. So if you have not manually gone into all of your communications programs like Zoom and what have you, and unchecked the box that automatically adjusts your volume, then you'll want to turn this on. If you don't want to bother with that, then turn this on. And that means that once you set your input volume here within the Wavelength software, your mic volume will always be perfect no matter which program you're using, and that no programs can take control of your microphone, if you will, and adjust your volume and jack it up, and so that people won't be complaining about how they can't hear you. Got it? So if you don't want to mess with it in the other programs, click this button. If you're fine individually doing that setting, unchecking adjust volume automatically in all of your communications program, then you can uncheck that box. Those are your best settings within the Wavelength software to optimize the quality of your audio. And now, as you can see, when I talk in my final stream mix down here, my volume has got about 80-85% here on the mix. So if I bring that into OBS, if I bring that into Zoom, if I bring that into Streamlabs OBS, whatever it is, my volume is going to be nice and high, but not too high to where it's distorted. And then you can mix it accordingly through whatever methods you're wanting to use. That's the best mic settings in the Elgato Wavelength software. Once again, links below if you want to click and purchase this product or check out the official accessories for the microphone. And thank you so much for Elgato for supporting the channel. Adios. Elgato is sponsoring me to teach you what the best mic positioning is with the Elgato Wave 1 microphone. You're actually listening to the microphone right now. Check it out. It's right here in front of me. It's within a hang 10 distance from my mouth, which is the optimal positioning. I'm going to show you the difference between this position with the microphone versus other positions in your home studio to show you the massive difference between, say, having it on your desk next to you on the table stand versus having it on a boom stand like this right in front of you, getting this big, clean sound. All right, first things first. Optimal positioning with this mic will require, for most of you, removing the mic from its official table stand. The table stand's great with this mic, but when you have it on a table stand, it generally means that the mic is going to be sitting in front of you, say right here in this example, about 2 feet to 18 inches to 2.5 feet away, depending on the positioning of the microphone. That is not optimal. Listen to the difference between it being in the proper positioning in front of me versus being further away. You're going to hear some grumbling because I'm going to move the mic, but here's the way that the mic would sound if it was on the table stand, essentially, up here in front of me. And as you can hear, it sounds significantly less full. It's starting to pick up some of the room noise in the room. You don't have as much bassiness in my voice. You don't hear the clarity in the high end. This is about 2 feet away, 18 inches away from me. Now let's bring it in about 1 foot away from me, and you can hear the difference. So now the mic is about 1 foot away at this point, and now there's an increase in sound quality and bass and clarity as I talk. Then what you'll want to do is get the mic in the optimal position. So what you're going to do, I like to call it the hang 10 distance. Basically, you put your thumb on your lip and you have your pinky finger right there in front of you. And what you're going to do is you're going to bring in the microphone to where your pinky finger touches the mic. Then it is in the optimal position. Then you can kind of turn it toward you, kind of scooch it in place, and then double check with the hang 10 position method to get the mic in the optimal position in front of you. I've done this method for years in the AV industry, running multi-million-dollar events. Almost every mic works this way. If you're hang 10 distance away, it'll help reduce the pops. It'll help reduce the issues with too much bass, people hearing your breath, hearing different mouth noises you're making, but still getting the full clarity of the audio at hang 10 distance away. Now, there is an alternate option here in terms of distance, which is the fist bump distance, and you're going to hear the difference in the way it sounds right now versus fist bump difference. Let me show you that. So currently we're hang 10 distance away. Let's go fist bump distance. So you're going to basically put your fist here between you and the mic, and then you're going to move the mic in fist bump distance away. And as you can hear, it sounds even more full, right? It sounds even more broadcasty with fist bump distance away. That's only about 3 to 4 inches away. This is the closest you will ever want to be to this microphone. You will probably want to get a pop filter and or a windscreen to put it on the Elgato Wave 1 if you're going to be fist bump distance away. This mic does have an internal pop filter built into it, of course, but if you're this close, even the internal pop filter, depending on how heavy you breathe and how much you punch your audio, you will want extra protection. I'm going to have links below to the official pop filter for this microphone, and that is going to help you, give you double pop filter between you and the mic. Cool? So if you're going to have it table distance away like this is the way your audio is going to sound by comparison. It still sounds good, but it just doesn't sound optimal. Then you can bring it in hang 10 distance away, which is optimal for most of you. You don't even need a pop filter to be hang 10 distance away. It's a good average distance away. And then you can bring it in fist bump distance away like this. Cool? Those are the differences here. Now, let me just make this clear for you guys. I'm going to pull this off and you're going to hear a little bit of crunchiness with the audio, but I want to make sure that this is ultra clear here. See the Elgato logo on the front of the microphone? I know this might sound obvious, but I've seen many people on the internet trying to talk into the top of this microphone. It doesn't pick up audio up there. There's just a piece of plastic on the top of the microphone. You want to talk into the front of the microphone, so point the Elgato logo that's right in front of you like it's got a freaking laser pointed right at your mouth. That's what you want to do. They're basically a laser from the Elgato logo right into your mouth, and then you know that you have the microphone pointed the right way and it is in the optimal positioning. And the last note here, of course, is that you want to test the microphone, do playback, and listen to the way it sounds. Are you comfortable with the way it sounds? Do you want to bring it in closer? Do you want it in the shot like this? Or do you want to maybe move it a little further away and have it a bit more out of the shot like this, right? You can determine which position you want based on your camera shot as well, but try to keep it within hang 10 distance from your mouth to get all of the audio quality out of it. As you can hear, this mic sounds fantastic for the money. And then if you add processing on top in Wavelength software, I've got tutorial videos on that, or OBS or post-processing in your editing software, then the Wave 1 sounds fantastic. Be sure to pick it up, links in the description below. If you want this level of audio quality for the money, thumbs up. Thanks for sponsoring this video, Elgato. Elgato is sponsoring me to talk about, is this microphone good enough to buy? Does it sound good enough to buy? Put aside the software side of the Elgato Wave microphone, which in my opinion is the most valuable part of this particular mic. The software, Wavelength software, allows you to pull in music and game audio and Discord and whatever you want into one digital mixer. Put that aside for a moment. Let's just look at the mic itself. Does it sound good enough? Well, we're going to do a sound test right now. You've been listening to the Elgato Wave 1 mic. I've been talking in it, and I've actually had some processing and effects on top of the microphone as this video kicks off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, in real time here, remove the post-processing and effects that I have. Boop, boop, boop. And we're just going to listen to the raw audio from this microphone in a pure sound test without any OBS filters. I just had OBS filters on over there. Are you ready? So here is the sound that you're going to get if you just plug this mic in and you do a recording with no filters, the Elgato Wave 1. I have it hang 10 distance from my mouth right now, and this is the optimal distance in my opinion. Now you can bring it in closer and get more of a broadcasterier sound if you want to bring it fist bump distance in by bringing it this close to your mouth. And as you can hear, it's going to pick up more of the bass in your voice, and you're going to sound a bit fuller and a bit better. If you're going to do this far away from the mic fist bump distance, you're going to want to have a windscreen of some description. I'll have one in the description below if you want to pick up the official Elgato one, because I'm going to take this off. You're going to hear some crunching. If you're this close, there's a built-in pop filter inside of the Elgato Wave 1 mic, but in my experience, I talk so loud, for example, and I'm so breathy that I can actually punch through the pop filter if I'm this close. However, if you move the mic hang 10 distance away, about this far, then you probably won't have any pops. You won't need any pop filter with this mic, and it'll still sound optimal. Now I want to show you, the mic comes with a table stand that you can easily mount the microphone to. I've got a tutorial on how to mount that and remove that and what have you. But if you move the microphone further away from you, let's say table stand distance away, so I'll move the mic over there right now and I'll point it toward me, you're going to hear a massive difference, in my opinion, in the quality of the audio. It's going to pick up some room noise, maybe some echo in your room. I've got an acoustically treated space here, and it's going to basically not get the full quality from this microphone that you could get if you brought it closer to your mouth, in my opinion. So this is about what it'll sound like if you popped it on the table stand there and you put it on your desk. It's about 18 inches to 2 feet away from me right now. Still sounds good, right? And you could add processing to this to make it sound better, but this is not optimal in my opinion. Look, the table stand's great that comes with this mic. But you can use it when you're on the go. Let's say you're going to a hotel or you're going to a conference and you want to do a podcast, whatever, table stand it up, let's go. But if you're at home in your home studio, I recommend picking up a stand for your microphone and a boom stand, as well as a shock mount for the microphone to get optimal audio quality. And let me just switch back. I'm going to turn on processing for you now. This is very basic processing in OBS. And this processing is just going to do noise removal, compressor, and limiter. These are all, and I just turned them all on, and these are very basic processors that are free that I recommend everybody add to their OBS. And this is the way this mic sounds with the processing on, table stand distance away, all right? This is the way the mic sounds hang 10 distance away with no pop filter. All right, and this is the process sound of the Elgato Wave 1, and then here's the way it sounds fist bump distance away with no extra pop filter on it, but some filtering. Okay. I think this will give you a good idea of how this mic actually sounds. If you buy it, you plug it into your computer. This is a real-time test. Thanks to Elgato for sponsoring this video. I love this mic. I've recommended the Wave 3 to dozens of my clients in the past. The Wave 1's performance is really, really solid. It's nearly identical in terms of audio quality. Thank you so much for watching. Elgato is sponsoring me to teach you the difference between a monitor mix and a stream mix with the Elgato Wave 1 microphone. It's really simple, and it's an amazing feature of this mic because it comes with this Wavelink software for free if you buy the mic that allows you to combine all of your audio sources in your studio, from your music to your game audio to chat to Microsoft Office, your browser, whatever, into one software right in the middle. And so you can change two different mixes, essentially, of what you hear on your headphones versus what's outputting to your audience using the Wavelink software. So what do I mean by that? The mic itself has a headphone jack in the back that you can monitor everything with, and you can adjust the monitor mix for that. Also, your monitor mix can go out to something else that's not in the back of the microphone, say to your speakers or to your headphones in your computer otherwise. Got it? So generally speaking, your monitor mix is what you hear versus your stream mix, which is what your audience is going to hear. It's that simple. How do you make some adjustments there? Here's the basics. I'll have a full in-depth on how this works later, but here's my microphone and the Wavelink software already set up. Tutorials to get up to this point are on the channel if you want to catch up. And what you're going to do is you're going to scroll down on whatever input you're adjusting, and you're going to see two icons here. The playbacky looking one is the stream mix, and the headphones one is your monitor mix. Keep in mind, your monitor mix is not just headphones, it can also be speakers. It can also be sending out to anything, a mixer, whatever. But just here's the basics. For example, if you wanted to mute your microphone and not have it go out to your stream, but you still hear it in your headphones, you could mute the playback icon there under that channel, and notice how it's not going out in the stream mix anymore, but it is going into my monitor mix. So you can choose to kill it essentially on the audience side or on your own side by muting down here. Also, there are master volume levels where you can change your monitor mix right here in this top channel with your volume and your stream mix, and you can drop them down accordingly depending on your preference, as you can see here. And you can choose which one you're monitoring by clicking the ear button. Both of these mixes are usable anywhere on your computer in any software. So what do I mean by that? You can take your monitor mix of what you're hearing in your headphones and you can pump that into a recording software if you want. It doesn't just have to be what you're monitoring. Also, the stream mix, you can take that and pump that anywhere into your computer you want. On a Zoom call, on a Discord call, on OBS, on Streamlabs, in your recording software. Both of these mixes, monitor mix and stream mix, you can route them anywhere in your computer you want. Complete creative freedom, essentially, with how you route your signals. I'm going to go in depth in that in another tutorial on how to do all of that. And thank you to Elgato for sponsoring this video. Check out this mic and its official accessories in the description below. Adios, amigos. Elgato is sponsoring me to teach you how to adjust how much of your microphone, the Elgato Wave 1 microphone, you hear in your monitor mix, how much you hear yourself essentially, versus everything else you're listening to in your broadcast, your game audio, Discord, whatever it is. I'm going to teach you how to adjust that mix because it is different on the Elgato Wave 1 microphone versus the Elgato Wave 3 microphone. And so let me clarify that and teach you how to do that mix so you're nice and comfy with how you're listening to your audio. So first things first, the Elgato Wave 1 microphone that you're listening to right now does not have the ability on the microphone physically for you to adjust the mix between what you hear in your headphones in your monitor mix versus what you hear in the microphone mix itself. So you have to do all of the mixing in terms of how much mic you hear versus how much of the other audio you hear in the software side, in the Wavelink software. So let's go over that right now. It's digital only with the Elgato Wave 1 microphone. No physical controls to change the mix. Cool? Just want to make sure that's clear. And that's one of the reasons why the Elgato Wave 1 mic is less expensive than the Elgato Wave 3. It's a feature that is not on board this microphone. Cool. So here's how you change that mix and you adjust it. Obviously, you need to have the Elgato Wavelink software installed and set up. If you haven't already done that, watch my previous tutorial videos. It'll catch you up to this phase where everything's up and running and now you're ready to adjust your mixes. Okay. So the way that you're going to adjust the mix between PC, or essentially all the audio you're listening to, game audio, blah, 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 and your mic, is you're going to do the drop-down menu here under your microphone. Then you're going to go down and you're going to see this mic versus PC mix. Here's how this works. You're essentially going to choose what the output volume is for your headphones and your monitor mix by dropping down the output volume here or increasing the output volume here. You can decide what you think the volume level should be there. Now, notice the dial function above allows you to select whether the physical dial on the microphone controls that or not. So as you can see, I'm physically controlling that volume. If I drop down the dial function and I choose output volume. So you can select the output volume here, but you can't select the mix. What do I mean by the mix? So if you look at your mic versus PC mix, if I slide the slider all the way to the left, all you're going to hear is your microphone right here. So you're only going to hear your mic. You're not going to hear any other audio on your computer, just monitoring yourself. If you move it to the other side, you aren't going to hear any of your microphone in the mix. You will only hear the sounds that you're mixing, your music, your game audio, whatever on your computer. And if you put it somewhere in the middle, then you can have a mix 50-50, let's say, or any percentage you want of how much of yourself you want to hear versus how much of the other stuff, maybe other people you want to hear in the mix. So definitely test this before you go into a stream. Definitely test this before you go into recording to make sure it's super comfortable for you. Most people I know like to hear themselves a little bit quieter versus the other people they're talking to or the game audio. And so for most people, kind of the best setting is going to be right here, somewhere kind of like 60 to 70% toward the PC mix versus the microphone mix, because you probably won't want to hear yourself super loud. So mic 40%, PC 60%, is a good starting place for most of my digital consulting clients that I've worked with. Got it? That's how you adjust the mix there between those two things that you hear in your headphones. It's really important. You can't do it on the mic. That little physical button on the mic doesn't do the job. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to pick up the Wave 1 or its official accessories, I've got links below to do that. Thank you so much for watching. Adios. Elgato is sponsoring me to teach you how to add a music source to your Elgato Wave 1 microphone setup. What do I mean by that? Well, here's what I mean. So the Elgato Wave 1 mic comes with this Wavelink software that allows you to bring in audio sources from anywhere in your home studio and your setup into one digital mixer, including Spotify. I've got Spotify running right here on this computer. So here's how you do it. In order to get to this phase, you need to have the mic plugged in, update your firmware, get the software installed, do your basic Windows settings. If you haven't done all of that, don't worry, I've got tutorial videos on all of that on the channel. Just go back and watch those to catch up to where we are today, where all the basics are hooked up. Cool. So the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to take whatever it is that we're playing in terms of music, if it's Spotify and otherwise, and we're going to open that program and we are going to find some music and hit play on that music. Why? So whenever you hit play on that music, it's going to activate that as a source that can be captured by your computer. If you're not already playing the music, then you can't capture the music through the method that we're going to talk about, okay? So next step is that you are going to route your music within the Wavelink software by adding an input for the music here. Then we are going to route it in Windows. Don't worry, it's very simple. I'll walk you step by step through it. So first things first, let's go to an empty channel on your Wavelink software and click the plus button to add a new input. I recommend selecting the music option because it makes the most sense for your brain. Got it. So once you do that, and I am going to do this just for the tutorial so we don't get feedback, I'm going to mute there. You don't have to mute there. What I recommend is doing the drop down menu here under music and selecting whatever your music playback service is. Let's call mine is Spotify today. Yours can be whatever it is yours is. It works the same for all music playback services. Got it? So you've routed it to music, then you've named it whatever it's actually called to help your brain out. Check. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to route the audio in Windows so that it goes through that music option that we just selected there. The way that you do that is you go down to, in Windows, you're going to search and you're going to go to sound, you're going to type in the word sound, and then you're going to see sound mixer options down there. That's the menu that you're looking to get to today. So when you click sound mixer options, click, it's going to pull up this menu right here that you see on the screen right in front of us. So when you get here, this may be confusing, but trust me, it's very simple to do the routing. What you're going to do is scroll down to your music service. Let's say it's Spotify. And under the first box, you're going to select, doesn't that look familiar? Wavelength music. There you go. So now you're routing the Spotify playback through that music channel we just opened up in your wavelength. Then when you're selecting the next menu, I recommend for most of you guys choosing wavelength stream. It will depend on if you're doing some special routing, but let's just do wavelength stream as a good default for most of you guys to select for the second option. The most important thing is that you've selected wavelength music as your first option. Now that you've routed it in the wavelength software here, and you've selected music, and then in Windows, you've selected wavelength music as your output, then what you will be able to do next is actually play the music and have it pumping in through the wavelength software. So I'm going to unmute the music right now, and there it is. So you notice how the music is now coming through, and we now have levels coming through on the music right here for Spotify. Now, one thing that you need to note is that you can change how much of that music, whether you hear or not the music through your headphones by clicking this button, whether it goes through the stream mix or not by clicking this button, and you can choose the volume levels of how much you hear it in your headphones versus how much you hear it in the stream mix using these volume levels here. Also, if you want to monitor the stream mix, let's say you're pumping the music through the stream mix for your audience, you can click the ear button here to monitor it there, or you can click the ear button here to monitor your monitor mix in your headphones separately. But I will be quiet for a moment and watch what's happening in the mixer down here. Notice how the volume levels are significantly higher under the stream mix and they're lower under the monitor mix. That's because I've muted my Spotify playback in my monitor mix by clicking the mute button down here, and it's only playing back in my playback mix. I highlight for that for you guys because you can choose whether music sources are heard just by you and or by your audience. So you may want to live stream, for example, and listen to music through your headphones, but not have that be a part of the broadcast. Maybe you want to listen to copyright music, right? But you can't play it back because you'll get copyright struck. This gives you the option to only listen to it and or to play it back for your audience. The Wavelength software gives you that complete control on how your music is routed within your computer. Thank you so much for watching. Pick up the Wave 1 microphone, links below, and the official accessory links are down there. Adios amigos. If you'd like to capture and mix your internet browser source in the Elgato Wavelength software using your Wave 1 microphone, this is the tutorial video for you. I'm talking about Chrome, Firefox, Internet Edge, whatever you're using. It's all exactly the same. What do I mean by that? You can capture any audio from any of your internet browsers, whether it's YouTube, Spotify, some random video, I don't know, something on TikTok, whatever it may be, and you can route that all in through this digital mixer, Wavelength digital mixer, and have that be a part of a dynamic mix. This software comes for free with your Elgato Wave 1 microphone. Check it out. Here's what you're going to do. So first things first, pull up your internet browser and play something. So in this example, I'm just playing one of my tutorial videos on the Elgato Wave 3, okay? The reason why you're going to play something as you're setting this up is it's going to activate this source in your system so that you can actually route it into the software. So play something first. Check. That's step one. Step two, you're going to go to one of your empty channels here in the Wavelink software, and you're going to click the plus button to add an input. I recommend adding a browser here. It just makes sense for your brain, right? Click the menu down button, and then go ahead and name it whatever your internet browser is or whatever makes sense to your brain. For me, I'll choose Chrome. I'll say Chrome, but for you, change it to something that makes sense to your brain and makes your life easier. I'm going to mute my monitor mix right now because you'll get feedback in this tutorial if I don't. Cool. That's step two. The last step here to route everything through in your audio is to pull up this menu in Windows. So in order to access this menu, what you're going to do is you're going to type in the word sound in your search bar. And then once you type in the word sound, you're going to see the sound mixer options right there as the menu. Choose that menu, and that will let you route the audio in your system appropriately. That will bring up this menu. Now, I know you may get intimidated by all the menus here and it may seem confusing, but just do what I'm telling you to do. And once you set it, you're setting it and forgetting it, and it just works forever. So scroll down, and as you can see, because we already started playing something in Google Chrome, it has Google Chrome as a source here. So what you're going to do is you're going to do the first drop-down menu, and you're going to choose Wavelink Browser. The thing we just set up, right? Browser in the Wavelink. And the second option, I don't like leaving it on default. I like selecting Wavelink Stream as a standard setting that I like to use, but you may have some other mixing configuration that you want. That's just a good standard option for setups. Got it? So once you've done that, let's be clear. You now have your source playing in your browser. You have something playing. You've linked it in Wavelink software, and you have it routed in your system. So now that you've done that, all the wires are connected, and so now all you have to do is unmute the playback on whatever you're playing, and there it is. All of our beautiful audio is coming through Google Chrome right here into this mixer, and we can now mix it as we see fit, separate from our mic. So, for example, I muted the monitor output here. That means that it's not coming through this monitor mix right here. Nice. I could also mute the stream output, and then it wouldn't be coming through our stream mix. We can also adjust the volume levels on the monitor mix, what we hear in our headphones, versus the stream mix, what the viewers are going to hear in the recording, as we see fit. And what's really cool about this is you can choose whether you're listening to your monitor mix by clicking the ear here, or your stream mix by clicking the ear here. You choose. So you have the option here to choose to maybe listen to something on your internet browser without having your audience even hear it, right? And the way you would do that is by clicking the mute stream mix button and clicking unmute on the monitor mix, and then you'll hear it, but the audience won't hear it. Or vice versa. If you want the audience to hear something, but you don't want to hear it, mute it through your monitor mix here, and then let it play back through the stream mix here. The options are endless for you to be able to do a simple digital mix of your internet browser source right here in the software versus every other audio source on your computer. So simple, right? Awesome. I hope you enjoy. The possibilities are endless, right? If you can pull in audio from an internet browser, and if you want to pick up the Elgato Wave 1 and its official accessories, I'm going to have some links below. Adios, amigos. Elgato is sponsoring me to teach you how to bring in game audio through your Elgato Wave 1 microphone. What do you mean? How do you bring in game audio through a microphone? It's pretty cool. So using the Wavelink software that comes for free with the Elgato Wave 1 microphone, you can connect game audio, music, chat, your own microphone, all of that stuff in a simple digital audio mixer right on your computer. This mixer, the Wavelink software. If you don't already have the software set up, your mic hooked up, and you aren't already at this step in the process, watch my previous tutorial videos. They'll get you caught up to where we're at right now. Got it. So the first step that you're going to do in order to make this happen is to open a game. So right now I have Cyberpunk 2077 open on my computer and it's running. Cool. Run whatever game you're going to run. Check. That's step one. Step two, in your Wavelink software, you're going to click the add audio input button here and you're going to choose game. So when you do that, I recommend naming it whatever game you're playing, or you can leave it as game audio, whatever you want to do. But I like naming it something that makes sense to my brain. It really does help. So choose whatever it is you want to name it. Check. Awesome. I'm going to mute my monitor mix so we don't get mega feedback during this tutorial. You do not have to do that. That's step 2. So we just added it to game here in the Wavelink software. The third step that we need to do is we need to pull up this menu right here in our system so that we can route the audio to the Wavelink software. How do we do that? Easy. So you go down in Windows and you type in sound, and it's going to pull up sound mixer options right here, and click sound mixer options, and it'll pull up the menu we're looking at right here. Now, you may be intimidated by all the inputs and outputs and you go, oh God, this is going to be terrible. No, it's actually going to be very easy. Just follow the steps, come along with me. Scroll down and go down to wherever your game is. As you can see, Cyberpunk 2077 is right there for me. What you're going to do is you're going to click the first menu, and you're going to choose Wavelink Game as your option there. There it is, Wavelink Game. Check. The next option, you're going to choose Wavelink Stream. Now, you don't have to, but I recommend clicking that as your default option for you guys. I don't recommend leaving it on default right here. You may want to do a custom mixing configuration for this second setting. That's up to you. But generally speaking, I do Wavelink Stream as the second option. Got it? Now, I turned my volume down earlier so that I wouldn't blow your faces off as I start the video. So I'm going to turn mine up. You should start at 100. Got it? So your volume should be on, should be Wavelink Game and Wavelink Stream just as a starting point. Got it? Now, as you can see, our game audio is now pumping through the Wavelink mixer. Sweet, right? And here's some interesting settings that you can do that will really take your mixing game to the next level. So for example, I've muted it in my monitor mix, so I don't hear the game right now in my monitor mix. If I wanted to hear it in my monitor mix in my headphones, I could just click this button and it would pump it right through my headphones. If I want to listen, if I don't want the audience to hear the game audio, I can click this button and mute it, and boom, now the audience doesn't hear it. And you can adjust the volume levels on how loud the game is in your headphones here on the left versus what the viewers hear here on the right, which is awesome. You can also choose whether you're monitoring, whether you're listening to what's going in your monitor mix by clicking the ear here, or whether you're listening to what viewers hear by clicking the ear here as you're setting up that mix and understanding what the viewer experience is going to be like. I'm going to be quiet for a moment and watch what's happening. You see how the volume levels here on the bottom were higher than the volume levels on the top, right? Obviously, that's because I've muted my game in my monitor mix, which was the top, but I've let the game audio pump through in my stream mix, which is the bottom. And so that's the power of this mixing option. So for example, if you wanted to pull up some game audio and check it out and listen to it first before the audience hears it to make sure everything's good, you could just mute the audience playback and unmute the monitor mix. Or if you wanted to do vice versa, you don't want to listen to the game audio, but you do want the audience to hear it, you could mute in your headphones by clicking the headphones button, and you could play it back by unclicking this button and letting the audio go through in your playback mix. The possibilities are endless, and it is super simple for you to set up for the first time. That's the power of the Elgato Wave 1. I love this microphone. I've recommended the Wave 3 to dozens of my clients, and I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Adios, amigos. Pick up the Wave 1 and its official accessories in the links below. Elgato is sponsoring me to teach you how to connect Discord audio or any other voice chat program for that matter to the Elgato Wave 1 microphone. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is that you can pull up Discord or any other voice chat communications program on your computer, and you can boot it up and route the audio going from that call for an interview or for a collaboration, whatever it may be, a meeting, into the Elgato Wavelink software and bring that together in a simple digital mix that's easy to manage. I'm going to go over all the settings that you'll want to consider when doing this. It can get a little hairy. It can get a little complicated when it comes to routing Discord. Let me try to simplify it to the easiest possible application for you. Got it? Step 1. Open up Discord. So, for example, I have my Discord open right now, and I have joined a voice chat in Discord. So I recommend doing those 2 steps. Open up Discord, jump on a call, jump into voice chat, whatever it is, and just activate that source, essentially, on your computer to be able to start capturing it and setting it up. That's step one. Step two, in your Elgato Wavelink software, if you don't already have your Wavelink software up and running and your firmware installed and all of that, previous tutorial videos covering all the basic setup to reach this step. Then you're going to click in an empty channel, add audio input, and you'll want to choose voice chat. Once you choose voice chat, I recommend selecting the voice chat as a name of whatever the program is you're capturing to help your brain, but you can decide what you want to do there. In my case here in this tutorial is Discord, right? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute the monitor mix so I don't get feedback out the yin yang when I do this during the tutorial. That's step two. Got it? So we routed it in Wavelink to Wavelink voice chat. Check. Next, you're going to want to pull up this menu within your system settings. Now, if you don't know what this menu is, it's easy. You can just search for it in Windows, for example, by clicking sound or typing sound, and you'll see sound mixer options down here. Go ahead and do sound mixer options. It'll pull up this menu. Now, there's a whole lot of settings in here. Do not be intimidated. It's very simple. So we're just going to scroll down and you're going to see probably 2 instances of Discord listed below. It's okay. I'm going to give you some simple default settings that can make sense. So for the top boxes under Discord, you're going to choose Wavelink voice chat here and Wavelink voice chat here. Got it? That will connect it to your Wavelink software. Then for the second input here, you've got a decision to make, and I'll try to make this simple for you. For most of you guys, you're going to want to choose mic in here and mic in here. What do I mean by that? Just do these settings and I'll explain what I mean by that in Discord. You ready? All right. So we're going to pull open Discord here. And so what I mean by that is go into Discord now as your fourth step, and I'll try to explain how the audio routing is working here so that you can make your decisions based on what your setup is. So if you don't know how to pull up your settings in Discord, go by next to your name, your avatar down here at the bottom, and click User Settings, and it'll pull up this menu. Then you're going to go to Voice and Video right here, click that. So here's your decision, basically in Discord. You get to choose what your input device is in Discord. What does that mean? So this is basically what the audience is going to hear on Discord specifically. So if you only want the people you're talking to on Discord to hear your voice, then you're going to select mic in as your input device. If you want people on Discord to hear your entire stream mix of all the things you're putting together for your final recording, choose Wavelink Stream. And if you want folks on Discord to hear only what you're hearing in your headphones, then choose Wavelink Monitor. And when you change those settings here in Discord, depending on what it is, I want you to mirror those settings in Windows. So what do I mean by that? So if in Discord, we decided that we wanted to, instead of doing mic in, we wanted to change it to monitor here. What you're going to do in that Windows menu I pulled up a moment ago is you're going to want to, instead of doing mic in here, you're going to change it to monitor, and you're going to change it to monitor. Got it? So you're going to mirror the settings from what you're doing in Discord here in the Windows settings. Makes sense? But I think for most of you, what you will want people to hear in Discord will be mic in, aka they will only hear what you're saying through the microphone. 90% of you guys, that's the configuration that you're going to want to do. Check. Awesome. Then also in Discord, what you're going to want to do is choose your output device manually. And in Windows, we selected Wavelink Voice Chat, but I want you to manually select Wavelink Voice Chat right here under Output Device as well. Got it? Those are the default settings, and I hope that explanation made it simple as to what the people on Discord are hearing versus what's happening in your mix in Wavelink. The final setting I want you to consider here when you are using Discord to capture is to go over here in notifications, and I recommend disabling all notifications in Discord while you're recording. And so don't let any of your sounds, you see the sounds in the sound menu here, disable all of your sounds in Discord. No rings, no bings, no clicks, no any of that stuff should be coming through in Discord. That will be extremely annoying to your viewers. Then once the other person joins in Discord and they start talking to you, that will pump through with the settings I've told you right here in Discord, and you'll start seeing volume levels here under the Discord source in your Wavelink software. Once that happens, you can choose how you mix that person talking to you and their vocals coming through. So you can decide whether you want or not to hear them in your headphones by clicking this button and what the volume level is that you hear them in your headphones. Check. You can choose whether they go through in your stream mix or not in your recording by muting or unmuting this, or changing the volume of how loud they are on Discord in your stream mix volume selection. Cool. And the other settings that you want to know about is if you want to check and make sure that your monitor mix, what you're hearing in your headphones, is good for you, click the ear button here. And if you want to make sure that what the audience is going to hear is properly mixed, then you click the ear button here. That's how you mix between Discord and your Wavelink software. So let's just do a quick summary, because I know this is one of the more complicated things to do with this microphone. Step 1, open Discord and join a chat room and get an active source going on your computer. Step 2, add a channel here within the Wavelink software and choose voice chat. Step 3, type the word sound when you're searching on your computer and pull open this menu right over here. And you're going to select Wavelink voice chat, mic in, mic in. And then the final step is to configure in Discord according to what you are trying to do in Discord by clicking the gear cog in the bottom by your name, going to your user settings and going into voice and video, and then selecting probably mic in and probably Wavelink voice chat. And bonus step, as we mentioned a moment ago, is disabling all of your notifications within Discord so you don't have annoying bings and rings and stuff while you're trying to do your recording. Got it? Good luck. It's pretty simple. Once you have it set up for the first time, it always works. Elgato Wave 1 links below if you want to pick it up and its official accessories. Adios, amigos. Elgato is sponsoring me to teach you how to route in video conferencing calls from Skype, from Zoom, Google Hangouts, whatever you're using, Slack, Microsoft Teams. It all works exactly the same. You can route the audio from those calls into a sweet digital mixer that comes for free with the Elgato Wave 1 microphone. What do I mean? Bring in that audio from the call and capture everybody's voices. Then bring in your mic into the call, capture that as a part of the mix. Bring in some music if you want. Throw in some game audio. Do a presentation, whatever you want to do. It can all be digitally mixed here in the Wavelink software that comes for free with this microphone, free if you buy the mic. Cool? Here's step number 1. Open up your call. So I'm going to use Zoom here. Open up a call and join with somebody else if you can. If you have to join with just yourself, pull open the desktop version of the video conferencing software and then pull open your phone to be the other person on the other side. That may or may not work depending on your software and whether you have multiple accounts. Preferably, you jump on a call with somebody else while you're setting this up for the very first time. That's step 1. Step 2, you have your Wavelink software installed, your firmware going, your mic plugged in. If you haven't done all the basic setup to get to this step, watch my previous tutorial videos on that. Empty channel in Wavelink, click the plus button, then go to aux 1. Here under aux 1, I recommend changing this to something that makes sense to your brain. For me, it's going to be Zoom, but you can choose whatever you want it to say. Mine will say Zoom. You can choose Google Hangouts or whatever. Got it? I'm going to mute my monitor mix so we don't have feedback. For me, you don't have to do that. That's step 2. Step 3, you need to route all of this through your computer. So how do you do that? On Windows, you're going to go ahead and type sound here in the search bar. And then once you type in sound, you'll see sound mixer options down there. Click sound mixer options, and it'll bring up this confusing menu. Don't worry, I'll make it simple for you. Just scroll down. And then this is why we opened your video conferencing software before we got to the step, is so that the source is now activated in your system and we can now mix it accordingly. So if you chose aux 1 in your Wavelink software, choose it here under the top bar here and choose it here under the top bar here. You may or may not get 2 sources depending on your video conferencing software. So don't sweat it if you don't have 2 versions of it here. Depends on your software. aux 1 for the top bars. For most of you guys, in most applications, you're going to want to choose mic in for the second bar. Just follow me. I'll explain why in just a minute. Got it? aux 1 on the top, mic in on the bottom. Check. Now, go to your video conferencing software of your choice and go to wherever the menu is in your video conferencing software where you choose your input and your output, your microphone and your speakers, right? So in Zoom, it's down here. You pick wherever that is in your software. Got it? So here under microphone, I've chose mic in because that's what I did in the system settings. Under speaker, I chose wavelength aux 1 because that's what I did in the system settings. Make sure you match the settings here in the software versus what you did in your system settings. For 90% of you guys, job's done. Everything's going to work great. So people in your conference call are going to hear only your microphone, and you are going to see their levels pumping in right here through Zoom or whatever source you're doing here, and you can record them, you can monitor them, you can do everything, which is great. Job's done. They're going to hear you, you're going to be able to record them, they're going to come into your digital audio mixer, everybody's happy. Now, for those of you that want to do something more complicated, which most of you guys probably do, or some of you guys do, here's how you do the more complicated version. So let's say that your vision for what's going on here is that you are in your home studio or whatever, you're doing a presentation, maybe you're playing back music, maybe you are adding some other audio elements and you want people to hear a more complicated audio mix with more sources than just your microphone. Here's the best way to do that. What you're going to do is you are going to make sure that you have unmuted the microphone, the monitor mix right here. And in your system settings, we're going to go through the monitor mix instead of going through the mic in. So we're going to change it from mic in to wavelength monitor and mic in to wavelength monitor. Then in your video conferencing software, you are going to make that change as well to match. So go to where you choose your microphone in your video conferencing software and choose wavelength monitor. Now, why did we do wavelength monitor? I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible and not confuse you. The wavelength software allows us to do two mixes: your monitor mix and your stream mix. Your monitor mix is down here and your stream mix is right here. Your monitor mix volume level and monitoring is here in each channel, and your stream mix is right here for each channel. So the reason why we want to do the monitor mix is that you can route a specific audio configuration through the monitor mix by changing volume levels on each channel for monitor mix, or muting each channel for monitor mix, while letting everything else pump through the stream mix. So let's say you're trying to live stream whatever's happening on the call or record whatever's happening on the call. You can record the stream mix separately. Why would you want to do that? So the reason why is that you probably don't want to pump back through to the audience that's watching on your video conferencing software. You don't want to pump their own audio back into their own ears, right? They probably won't like that. So if you choose monitor mix, what you can do is you can mute their audio here under monitor mix, and their audio won't be going through the monitor mix and pumping back into themselves. You won't be causing a feedback loop. You won't be sending the people talking on Zoom in this example or your meeting back into them because you muted the monitor mix from going back into their ear. Got it? But their audio is still going through the stream mix, so you can record it and you can live stream it. Now, if you're getting confused, to be like, what? If I muted the monitor mix for the call I'm on, how do I hear anybody? Great question. So what you're going to do right here is, instead of clicking the ear button on the monitor mix, we're going to click the ear button on the stream mix down here instead. I'm not going to do that because that's not going to work for my recording, but you can do that. Which means that you will be listening to the stream mix while you're on the call with everybody, but everybody on the call is going to hear your monitor mix. And what this does is it allows you to play everything that you're having here going here on your mixer to everybody on the call, but themselves, because they don't want to hear their own voices played back to them. And that's why you're muting it right here. Got it? So you've switched all those inputs over to monitor mix, you mute the headphones here, and you switch the ear to this ear right here instead of this ear right here. And now you can do a fancy pants presentation where everybody can hear you, they can hear everything that's going on in your digital audio mixer, but they don't hear themselves. And you can take that entire mix and you can live stream it and you can record it. That is the, let's say, professionals version of this that many people have booked me for on consulting calls. Hopefully that was clear. Go back and watch the explanation again if it was not, and just mirror my settings and it'll just freaking work. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to pick up the Elgato Wave 1 mic, I've got links below, as well as the official accessories. Adios, amigos. Elgato is sponsoring me to teach you what the optimal settings are in Windows as well as OBS to connect your Elgato Wave 1 microphone to your broadcasting software of choice. You've got to have your foundation set right so you can connect everything together. What do I mean by that? Well, the Elgato Wave 1 comes with obviously the Wavelink software that allows you to bring in Spotify, game audio, Microsoft Office, Skype, all of that into a singular, easy to use interface, which is the Wavelink software. I recommend it to my clients all the time. Before you can connect the dots on your broadcasting software and Wavelink, let's get the foundation set. Awesome. So first stop on Windows is down here in the search bar, type in the word sound. And what you're going to do is go to sound settings. Once you click sound settings, it's going to bring up this menu with a bunch of irrelevant options. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down until you see this hidden menu, which I wish Windows would put at the front, called Sound Control Panel. That's where you get all of your juicy settings that you want to set up everything properly. Awesome. So today we're going to skip the playback settings because those are not as important. Those are only going to affect essentially what you hear in your monitor mix and your headphones. We're not as concerned with that today. We're going to do your recording settings, and you're going to see 3 critical recording options here. Your microphone in, which is just your mic, your monitor, Wavelink monitor, which is your monitor mix, which you hear in your headphones or your speakers when you're doing your monitor mix, and then Wavelink stream, which is going to be the final output that goes into your recording, into your live stream, into your broadcast. Got it? So what we're going to do in each of these is we're going to right click, and then we are going to go to properties. In each one, you can name it whatever you want. I like leaving it as mic in, but what we'll do is we'll go through these menus and make sure that your settings are correct. You should not be listening to the device with your levels. Go ahead and if you want, you can bump them, start them out by bumping them up to 100, and then you can ease the volume back from there. It's really important that your enhancements are all disabled here in Windows. Sometimes those will pop on by default. And if you go to advanced, you want to make sure with the Wave 1 that you're selecting 24-bit 48,000 hertz studio audio. It'll just be slightly higher quality, and do give exclusive mode to your microphone input. Got it? For the Wavelink monitor, we're going to go through a similar process. Don't listen to the device through Windows. See how the levels are at 100? Awesome. Don't do the enhancements. In advanced, you're going to do a 2-channel 48,000 hertz studio quality and exclusive mode. Got it? And then for stream, you're going to do similar settings, of course. And here, we're going to do the same thing. Not listening to it, 100 levels, no enhancements. Go to advanced. And then you're going to do the highest option, 24-bit, 48,000 studio quality with exclusive mode. You're basically duplicating those settings on all 3 of these. The reason why you want exclusive mode, just to be clear, is that exclusive mode allows your Wavelink software, this software that controls everything and is the majority of the value of this microphone, to actually take exclusive control of your device and to do its thing. And if you don't give it exclusive mode, then you won't be getting the full benefit, and also other programs can adjust your volume and stuff, which you do not want to happen. Check. Those are the Windows settings that we wanted to set up before we go into OBS. It's really important because we're going to end up matching some of those settings here in OBS as we go into our settings here. So let's check out OBS right now and do our settings there. So here in OBS, your little settings button is down here in the bottom right. Click that, and it's going to pull up our handy dandy settings menu. In this menu, there's a couple key areas I want you to take a look at. Your first stop is going to be the audio tab here on the left-hand side, click the audio tab. And then as you're going to see up here, see the sample rate? You saw how we double checked our sample rate in Windows. We need to match that sample rate here in OBS. And OBS will default you in some cases to 44.1. But remember, we just set our sample rate to 48. Match the sample rate. If you don't do that, your audio that's coming in through Wavelink may desync from what you're recording here in OBS because the sample rate is not the same. Got it? Awesome. Channels are stereo, and I very highly recommend that you manually disable every single audio device in OBS. Why is this important? Because your Wavelink software, you're going to be pulling in multiple audio sources there. And you don't want OBS to automatically add any audio sources as well. This will confuse you with your mixing. So if you disable everything here in OBS, all of your mixing on your computer will then be done through the Wavelink software over here, instead of a combination of Wavelink software and OBS, which can get hairy, it can cause feedback, and it can cause confusion. So if you automatically disable all of these, you're simplifying your life. Trust me on that. It is absolutely worth your while. The next setting that you're going to want to do to maximize your audio quality, this is missed by, I'd say, 90% of my consulting clients. Go to the output tab and do not do simple mode. It'll default you on simple mode here for the output mode. Don't do that. Do advanced mode, because if you do that, it will enable you to increase your audio quality. What do I mean by that? Go to the audio tab, and each of your audio bit rates in OBS will probably default at like 128 or 160 when you land on this menu. Don't do that. That's what peasant cavemen use for their audio bitrate. Bump it up to 320. You will double your audio quality mathematically here by doing that. And there is a noticeable difference, in my personal opinion, between 160 and 320. It's like going from like a low to mid-tier quality MP3 to a maximum quality MP3. You can especially hear the difference when you put on headphones. So I highly recommend doubling your audio quality here in this menu. Then when you're done, what you're going to hit is apply down here, and then you can hit OK. Got it? Now your Windows settings are all set up to where Wavelink software is now taking exclusive control of your devices. Check. You've set your sample rate to 48,000 Hertz. Check. And you've disabled all of your enhancements in Windows so that Windows isn't going to jack up your audio. Check. Then in OBS, you went into your settings, you made sure that you've disabled all devices, you matched the sample rate we set up before, and you went to output, and in your audio quality, you doubled your audio quality. Check, check, check. Now your foundation is set for you to have maximum audio quality and avoid a lot of big issues with the Elgato Wave 1 when you're connecting it to your broadcasting software. This is set it and forget it, my friends. Hopefully that was helpful to you. And if you want to pick up this mic, which I very highly recommend, I'm going to have links below, and the official accessories for the mic are also down there as well. Adios, amigos. Elgato is sponsoring me to teach you how to add mic audio from your Elgato Wave 1 microphone into OBS. What do I mean by that? Well, what you can do with the Elgato Wave 1 mic is you can bring it into a digital audio mixer that comes along with the microphone, and you can select to only bring in just the mic audio into OBS. You don't have to bring in all the other sources that it can hold, like game audio, Spotify, Discord. You can bring in just the mic. How do you do that? It's really simple. So what you're going to do is you're obviously going to have your microphone set up in your Wavelink software as an input. If you haven't already done that, I've got tutorial videos on my channel just only talking about the basic setup to reach this step. Once you have set that up, it doesn't matter what other channels are in your Wavelink software right up here. So for example, you see how in this example I have Spotify playing? It doesn't matter if Spotify's there. It doesn't matter if game audio's there. It doesn't matter if whatever's there. We're going to only bring in the microphone channel, and here's how you isolate bringing in the mic and ignore everything else in your Wavelink software. Super easy. So what you're going to do in OBS is you're going to go down here under sources in whatever scene you're setting up. Then you're going to hit the plus button there. Once you do that, you're going to click audio input capture. Then from this menu, I highly recommend naming it mic in or calling it Elgato Wave 1, whatever you want to call it, but identify it as a microphone specific input that makes your brain recognize it. Hit OK. Then what you're going to do under devices, you do not leave it under default. That will sabotage you. What you're going to do is click mic in. So if we wanted to bring in our stream mix or our monitor mix, that would bring in all the other sources that are a part of that mix. We don't want that today. We only want mic in. Cool. Once you do that, you can then hit OK. Beautiful. Now your microphone, only your microphone, is coming in through your audio mixer here in OBS. But let's talk about getting these settings right and making sure that the microphone is not coming in too hot or whatever, and getting the settings right. So as you can see, my mic's coming in a little bit hot right now through the system audio. So what we would want to do in that case is we want to turn down our volume here and make sure that the mic is getting in here around, let's say -5 dB, maybe a little bit lower here in OBS. And we can turn the volume down, by the way, in the Wavelink software as well to adjust its volume. So we could also adjust the volume over here, turn the input gain down here, and then that would adjust the volume accordingly, and we would be in good shape, okay? So those are two different ways to get your volume level precisely where you want it to be to get the levels just right in OBS. Cool, check. Once you do that, here's some bonus settings that you may want to do on your microphone to make it sound better. Click the gear cog and then go down under filters. And then there's a few filters that I recommend using in OBS to make any microphone sound better. So what you're going to do under filters is hit the plus button here, and then you're going to do noise suppression. So why noise suppression? It removes all background noise automatically. The new RN Noise Good Quality filter is great. Select that. The Speaks one is outdated and garbage. Just keep in mind, this is going to eliminate everything that is not a vocal. Okay, so if you are trying to play music in the background or do some sound effects or ASMR or something like that with your microphone, this is going to take a lot of that out by using this noise suppression. Keep that in mind. I also recommend adding to this microphone a compressor filter. Why would you do that? It gives you a more consistent sound. With a consistent volume level, it brings the lows up and the highs down. So what you're going to do under your compressor filter, great settings are 4:1 ratio on your compressor as a good setting. Check. And then the final setting you're going to want here is a limiter. Why are you going to want a limiter? Maybe you cough, maybe you sneeze, maybe your dog tackles you in the middle of your stream. I don't know. Put the limiter in place to prevent your microphone, if you accidentally smack your mic, whatever, to prevent your microphone from peaking and blowing up the faces of all of your audience members. You're going to want to do that at -3 dB. Then once you hit close, as you can see in the bars here, your audio is much tighter, and you are not going above a certain volume level here with your audio, which is great. And that's going to, you want to basically be in the sweet spot right between the yellow and the red, but not exceeding into the red too much and getting toward -5 dB. You want to be a little bit below -5 dB to be in that sweet spot here in your audio settings, so you don't overmodulate, but you are definitely loud enough to where people don't have to crank up the audio significantly when they're trying to listen to you through your microphone. That's how you bring the microphone from Wavelink software over to OBS, and some bonus settings because you watched till the end. If you're interested in picking up the Elgato Wave 1 mic, I've got links below to that, as well as the official accessories for this microphone. Adios, amigos. Elgato is sponsoring me to teach you how to connect your Elgato Wavelink software, the official software for this microphone, over to OBS so you can get some recording and some live streaming done. What do I mean by that? Well, it's really simple here, guys. The Wavelink software allows you to bring in Spotify, game audio, video conferencing, Discord, any audio on your computer, and combine it digitally into one simple and easy to use digital audio mixer, this guy right over here. And the reason why I recommend this to my clients, instead of using audio cables and all this complicated garbage, you can just put it all in the simple interface and combine multiple inputs and then bring it over to your OBS right here through one channel, essentially. What do I mean by that? Check out the example. So here I have my mic going. It's the mic you're listening to right now. And I added Spotify. Just an example. So if I want to bring over 3 different types of inputs from my Wavelink software over to OBS, here's how I'm going to do it. So option number one in OBS, and I'm going to do individual tutorials on each of these, but I'm just going to quickly review all three options for you. Okay. So if you want to bring that audio over, what you're going to do is you're going to go down here into sources in OBS, click the plus button, and then we're going to do an audio input capture. From audio input capture, the first example we're going to do is just mic in. And what this is this is the first example of how you can bring in audio, which is just by bringing in only the microphone audio from your Elgato Wave 1. You can select devices and notice mic in is there. Never leave this on to the default, okay? And then once you click mic in, then you click OK. Then as you'll see here in OBS, mic in is now in OBS and only my microphone is coming through, not Spotify audio, okay? So it's only pulling the audio from this input channel right over here, nothing else. Got it? Check. The next thing that you'll want to do, the next example of how you can bring audio over is you may want to bring over your monitor mix into OBS. What am I talking about? I'm talking about this output right here called monitor mix, where you can decide in your Wavelink mixer which things will be played into that monitor mix by clicking the headphone jack or not, or adjusting the volume level or not on different channels in Wavelink software to determine what goes through monitor mix. So the headphone, that channel is your monitor mix. How do you bring that into OBS? Super simple, guys. Exact same process. Hit the plus button, hit audio input capture, and then you're going to call it monitor mix. Hit OK. And then same menu pops up, and then you're going to choose Wavelink Monitor. Once you do that, go ahead and hit OK, and then boom, now your monitor mix is coming through here in OBS. Got it? And the exact same thing is the case. I'm going to remove it. The exact same thing is the case for your stream mix. And the stream mix is probably the most common mix that you guys are going to want to bring into OBS. That's your master mix for most people of what you want your viewers to actually hear in the recording and in the live stream. Exact same process here, guys. It's ultra simple. Hit the plus button on sources, add an audio input capture, call it stream mix, then hit OK, and then you're going to select stream mix here from your device in OBS, Wavelink stream right here, and then you're going to hit OK, and then boom, there it is. Your stream mix is coming through. And like I said earlier, you can adjust what's going into your stream mix by clicking this button right here under each channel. See that? And see that? If I removed both of these channels from the stream mix as an example, you'll notice that the stream mix here in Wavelink software is no longer getting any signal. And so when we look in OBS, notice how the stream mix is dead. But then if we go into the Wavelink software and I uncheck that and I uncheck this, now that audio in the mixer from these two channels is active, and now that audio is being pumped into the stream mix. Got it? Those are all three types of mixes that you can bring in. I'll do individual tutorial videos on each of those, but that's how you bring your audio from the Wavelink software over to OBS with the Elgato Wave 1 microphone. It's the most simple solution, really, to do digital audio mixing on your computer. Pretty much every consulting client I've recommended to it has used it and loves it because it makes their life easier. Look, if you want to pick this mic up, I've got links below, and also the official accessories for the mic are down there as well. Adios, amigos. Elgato is sponsoring me to teach you how to bring over your monitor mix from your Elgato Wave 1 microphone into OBS. What do I mean by that? Well, the Elgato Wave 1 mic has the Wavelink software that comes with it for free. And what you can do is you can put together a custom mix of whatever you want to bring in there, music, game audio, a video conference call, your internet browser, into just your monitor mix you're listening to in your headphones or on your speakers. What's really cool is that you can bring only that mix of what you're listening to into OBS if you want to record that or stream that, which gives you additional flexibility and options. So what do I mean by that? Let's go ahead and do it. So today in our monitor mix, I've got my Elgato Wave 1 microphone, just an example, and I've got some music playing. I've decided that in my monitor mix of what I want to hear, I have muted in the headphone here, that's the monitor mix, the music, because I don't want to listen to it, but I do, and I do not want the audience to be able to hear it as well in this example. So I only want to bring my monitor mix in, not the stream mix. So this gives you the option to choose two different types of mixes that you can bring into OBS, monitor mix or stream mix. which is really cool. Today we're talking about the monitor mix. That's the headphone on each channel. And for that monitor mix, you can adjust the volume of everything that's doing the monitor mix and on the left-hand side. So you can do a custom mix through the monitor mix channel to bring into OBS, which is really, really neat. So we've set our monitor mix and you can set yours. And now you want to bring that monitor mix into OBS so you can capture it there. Here's how you do it. You can go down to the plus button under sources in OBS. Then you're going to go to audio input capture. Click that, it'll pull up the menu. I recommend calling it monitor mix. Not monitor Miz, monitor mix. Perfect. So with monitor mix, we're going to hit OK, and then it's going to pull up the device selection menu. Do not leave it on default, please. Go to Wave Link Monitor. That is only the monitor mix, which is great. Then go ahead and go to the bottom and hit OK. Now our monitor mix is here. So as you can see, every time I'm talking, we're seeing the bars pop here in the monitor mix because that's the only thing we've chosen to bring into our monitor mix today. You can bring in anything into your monitor mix you want by enabling each item here in your monitor mix and changing the volume there, all completely customizable by you. You have to be really careful with adding filters to your monitor mix. So here's a power tip. So a lot of people like to use the OBS filters to make their audio sound better. There's only one filter you should add to this particular mix. Hit the gear cog, then go to filters. Then in the plus button in the bottom left-hand corner of that menu, click that plus button and go to limiter. Why are you going to want to add a limiter? Because it's possible that you could be bringing something in through your monitor mix, hit OK, that is too loud. You accidentally turned it on, you played a video, you played music, you coughed, whatever. That's coming in through that mix and it's too loud and it could blow up the headphones of your viewers. Go ahead and add this limiter and increase it to -3 dB, which is a broadcast standard, and that will prevent your monitor mix from crushing the headphones and ruining the recording essentially through audio on your mix. Don't add any other filters to this mix. For most people out there, I don't recommend adding any filters like noise removal and noise gate and compressor, because if you play music through this mix or you play game audio through this mix, it will really jack up the audio and significantly change it in a negative way, okay? Once you add the limiter there, you're gonna hit close, and then there it is. Now your monitor mix is never going to go above, as you can see, -3 dB. And if you see it really pushing toward -3 dB here, you can always drop the volume level here in OBS to mix it down in OBS accordingly, or you can bring the monitor mix down here in the bar in Wavelength software. See this monitor mix, master mix bar? You can bring this master mix down or up. You're actually listening to my monitor mix right now, and you can get that volume level to just the spot you want it to be. I recommend having it not peak up to your limiter here at -3 dB and bringing the volume down to where every channel that you're bringing into OBS is coming through the yellow, poking into the red a little bit. When you get ultra loud, maybe it gets up toward -5 dB, but you're not exceeding -5 dB, because then you're moving into clip territory and blowing up the face of your viewers. They're there to listen to clean audio. That's why you bought the Elgato Wave 1. If you haven't already bought it, check it out. Links in the description below to the microphone, as well as the official accessories for it. Adios, amigos. Elgato is sponsoring me to teach you how to add the stream mix for the Elgato Wave 1 microphone into OBS. What do I mean by that? Well, it's really simple, guys. Like, the Wavelength software that comes along with this microphone for free allows you to combine everything you want in your mix, game audio, Discord, internet browser, whatever it is, into one master mix using their official Wavelength software over here. So in today's example, what I have in our stream mix is I have just my microphone and one other input, just as an example, Spotify music playing. Cool. And so those two inputs are enabled. If we scroll down, we're going to see it here under the playback. Here, it is enabled. It's not disabled. That would be disabling it. It is enabled. It's not disabled. And so the mix we're talking about in Wavelength software is the stream mix down here. and you will see the volume level for the stream mix popping right here on this bottom bar. And so to take that mix specifically, which by the way, you can adjust the master volume of it here or monitoring it by clicking the ear here on that mix to bring only that mix into OBS as one simple input that combines everything in Wavelink into one input into OBS. Super convenient. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to Sources, click the plus button, go to Audio Input Capture. Then from Audio Input Capture, you're going to type in Stream Mix. There. Go ahead and hit OK. Then it'll pull up this menu where you get to select your device. Do the drop down, do not do default. Select Wavelink Stream. Check. With Wavelink Stream, then it'll bring in only the stream mix when you hit the OK button here at the bottom. Hit OK. There it is. There's our Wavelink Stream Mix right there. Nice and beautiful. Isn't it beautiful, my friends? And so when bringing that into OBS, you can see that my mix is a little bit hot right now. So what we can do is we can either bring down the mix here in the master volume for that mix by dropping it down here and then checking it out in OBS and seeing how that impacted our OBS. There it is. They brought it down a little bit in OBS. Or we could bring the volume level down in OBS if we wanted to adjust the volume. We don't want our volume on any of these to be punching up to 0 dB. Up here at the top, that means that your source is potentially clipping, which is bad. So we're going to bring it up here in the master mix, maybe bring it down to like 90 appears to be the sweet spot. And then for you, it's going to be something different. I'm just teaching you how to balance this. And as you can see, there it is. I'm really just getting toward -5 dB, but not going above that with my stream mix. That's where we want it to be. Since you've tuned in toward the end of this video, here's a bonus tip on how to make your stream mix better. Click the gear cog next to that stream mix in your mixer, then go to Filters. Within Filters, you're going to want to hit the plus button down here in the bottom left-hand corner and select Limiter in OBS and hit OK. What we're going to do is we're going to select under your threshold for your limiter, -3 dB. This is going to prevent your stream mix from peaking and clipping and what have you, and make it easy for you to have your audio sound great all the time. For example, I record tutorial videos all the time, and sometimes I'm louder, my mic is slightly closer, the volume levels adjust on their own, what have you. And so by putting this limiter in place, it prevents my recordings from being ruined. Even if my mic is a little bit hotter or the audio source is a little bit hotter that particular day, this can save recordings, this can save streams. Trust me, add this limiter here. It's going to prevent your audio from clipping. Once you do that, you're going to hit close, and then there it is. As you can see, my audio is never going to go above -3 dB here under the stream mix, so therefore you're never going to blow the face off of your viewers. Optimally, your volume level is kind of going right here between the yellow and the red line, getting toward -5 dB. It's a little bit hot right now, so you're going to want to talk, play your music, play your game audio, watch what happens, and just really adjust this and get it into a sweet spot where it's in the yellow, headed toward the red, but not exceeding the red too much, and then you are in the zone with your stream mix. Now, your audiences can enjoy a custom mix that you did through the Wavelink software just for them that's got the perfect volume levels and will never blow their face off, which is good. If you don't already have the Elgato Wave 1 mic, check out the links below with the official accessories as well. Adios amigos. Elgato is sponsoring me to teach you how to bring in any type of input you can put into their software over to OBS. This could include an internet browser. This can include music. It can include game audio. It can be Discord. It can be anything, Microsoft Office, you name it. If it's got an audio input that can go through your system, you can connect the dots here in the Wavelink software. So in today's example, I'm just going to show you how to do music as an example, but I've got individual tutorials on my channel already. If you're looking to do game audio, voice chat, anything else, internet browsers, I've got tutorials on just those things if you want to figure out how to add those specifically. So in today's tutorial, I've already got music added. Quick crash course on how that works. In order to do that, you basically need to play audio through whatever the source is you're trying to bring in, whether that's an internet browser. In this case, it's music, right? So I'm playing Spotify. Check. The next step is I am going to, in Windows, type in the word sound down there, and sound mixer options is going to be an option down there that we're going to click. Click that. Check. Once we do that, it'll pull up this menu here. Within this menu, we are going to select the appropriate channel for whatever the input is that we brought in. So in this case, it's music. So I'm going to, in the top option, select Wavelength Music. Makes sense? And for most of you guys out there, for the second option, you're probably going to want to choose Wavelength Stream. There are going to be other cases where you wouldn't want to choose that, but we can go over those in a separate tutorial video. Now that it's routed to Wavelength Music, you will want to add an input here into your Wavelength software called music. So let me just show that happening in real time right now, just so you can see the example. I already had it added there and it was already working. Let me show you an example of adding it from scratch. So we're going to click add audio input, and then we're going to click music. And then what we're going to do here under the music selection is I'm going to call it whatever the music is. You can call yours whatever you want to call your input. Got it. And then what I'm going to do, just so I don't have feedback, I'm going to mute there and watch this. Then I'm going to play the music and boom, there the music is coming right through. So that's the crash course on how this works. Once again, individual tutorial videos are available to teach you in depth. Now that that's set up, now that you have your input here, your Spotify, your whatever, let's connect the dots over to OBS. So there are two different ways that we can bring that input into OBS. Okay. One of those ways is through the monitor mix, and the other way is through the stream mix. And you can choose which of these mixes and how you want to utilize these mixes when you bring it over. So for example, right now I have the monitor mix muted because it'll create feedback. So I probably don't want to use the monitor mix in my case, but I do want to bring in the stream mix. So I have the stream mix enabled. If I killed the stream mix right here, it wouldn't go through the stream mix anymore. Okay. So you can enable or disable for each input which mix it's going through. Headphones is monitor mix. The playbacky thing here is stream mix. And you can see both of these mixes down here in the outputs below. Monitor mix is right here, top bar, and stream mix is down here, bottom bar. And you can adjust the audio of each of these mixes by using the slider. And you can also choose which one you're monitoring by clicking the ear button on it. Got it? You guys are currently listening to my monitor mix right now on this recording. Great. So now that you understand that, let's connect the dots to OBS. So here in OBS, if you want to add either of those mixes, either monitor mix or stream mix, what you're going to do is go to Sources, click the plus button, then you're going to choose Audio Input Capture. Once you do that, type in here, you can do whichever mix you want to call it, type in the name of the mix. I'm just going to call mine mix. You can do monitor mix or stream mix. It works exactly the same. Just type in the name of the mix here when you're doing it in yours and hit OK. Then here's where you're selecting your mix. You're going to go under Device. Do not do default, please. Go ahead and choose either monitor mix here or stream mix here based on which one you want to bring over. It's up to you. Most of you, 90% of you, will probably want to bring over the stream mix. So I'm just going to do that in this example, but you do have the option to add your monitor mix. I've got a whole separate tutorial, by the way, just on monitor mixes. So we'll do stream mix in this example, wave, link, stream. Got it? Once you've done that, go ahead and hit OK. And there it is. Your stream mix is now punching through directly into OBS. So everything that you've selected, it could be your mic, your music, your game audio, Microsoft Office, Discord. You could throw a ton of inputs in there. Anything that has the stream mix enabled under that channel and is coming through the stream mix here within the Elgato Wavelink software is now automatically pumped in to one singular channel in your audio mixer in OBS now. Isn't that brilliant? Bonus tip, since you're sticking around, go ahead and hit the gear cog on that particular channel, monitor mix or stream mix. This works for both. Hit filters. And then the bonus filter I like to add to this is called the limiter filter. It is a great filter to put on literally every audio channel you ever add in OBS. Hit OK. And then what you're going to do is bump up this filter to -3 dB. Why? Who knows, man? Your input that you're bringing in there, that game audio, that music audio, that collaborator, that interview, they may sneeze, they may laugh, you may scream, whatever. It could get real loud is the point. If you put -3 dB as your limiter option here, it's going to prevent your audio mix from blowing up the headphones of everybody listening. I've got one on my audio right now, and that's helping prevent me from clipping. Look, sometimes stuff happens in audio mixes. None of it's perfect. Programs compete for control over your audio devices and can jack up your mix. It can sound great on day one and not on day two. So if you put a limiter in place that can prevent clipping from ruining your stream or ruining your recording, no matter what, it's an extra layer of protection within OBS to protect your content. And that's how you connect the dots on any type of input you're adding in here to Wavelink over to OBS in one singular beautiful mix here in your audio mixer. Didn't that make it a lot more simple? Yeah, it does. And that's why I've recommended the Elgato Wave 3 mic, and I highly recommend the Elgato Wave Link software to my clients. The Wave 1, as you can see from this tutorial, has the exact same function where you can bring in that entire mix over to OBS for a lower price actually than the Wave 3. So if you want to check out the Wave 1 mic, check out the links below. Also have the official accessories down there, which can help reduce pops and booms with the shock mount. Adios, amigos.